Good evening. Tributes from across the world have been paid to Wolverhampton Wanderers' former owner, chairman and life president Sir Jack Hayward, who's died aged 91. Sir Jack had been ill for several months and passed away in Fort Lauderdale in Florida earlier today. Lucy Capassi reports.
The flags flying at half-mast at Molineux tonight in tribute to an owner who loved the club and the city so passionately. Tonight there was a minute's silence for him before the Wolves game against Fulham.
Deep sadness. I mean, he was such a lovely man and one of the few football chairmen around the country that you can say genuinely loved his football club. And I think I was one of his first signings under the Graham Taylor era after Tony Daly, and it was just so warm and he just made you feel really part of it.
He was born in 1923 close to Molineux and became a Wolves supporter from an early age, crawling under the turnstiles to grab a glimpse of his favourite players. Hayward was an RAF pilot in the Second World War and used his family wealth gained in the Bahamas to buy Wolves in 1990 for £2 million, ploughing millions of pounds into the club. With his backing, the club were able to develop Molineux into the 30,000-seater stadium it is now. It brought success and silverware. 13 years after taking charge, Wolves were promoted to the Premier League, albeit for one season. In the same year, he was given the freedom of the city of Wolverhampton. Then in 2007, he sold the club to current owner Steve Morgan for just £10 in return for a £30 million investment.
He took a decaying Molineux, bought the club, built it up and then passed it on for nothing in return for £30 million coming into the club when it could have gone to him and his family. And I think that's the measure of the man. He just loved this club so much that he'd do anything for it.
If you actually get into the Holy of Holies, into the building in here, there is a bust of Sir Jack. But I think that now there'll be a huge groundswell in Wolverhampton of people saying, we need a statue outside that everybody can see, that visiting fans can see, because everybody knows what Sir Jack's done for this club. It simply wouldn't be here without him.
Since news of his death broke, thousands of people around the world have taken to social media to share their memories of Sir Jack. Speaking to ITV Central last year, Sir Jack described his feelings for the club.
When you're born in a town like this, a quarter of a mile away, just over there, Molineux grounds, and you're born there, and you come to your first match at 5, and you follow them the rest of your life, and you achieve your ambition, hometown boy, supposedly made good, or at least and enough to buy the club, and which I did, which was an ambition, and it was great, 19 years, but it was worth it.
Sir Jack Hayward, who died today, aged 91. On to other news, and an 8th West Mercia police staff member has been served with a misconduct notice over the way the force dealt with a previous attack by convicted murderer Jamie Reynolds. Reynolds went on to murder schoolgirl Georgia Williams in 2013. Just 5 years earlier, he had lured a young girl back to his Telford home and tried to strangle her. 6 West Mercia police officers were served with misconduct notices in September and a 7th in November. The Midlands is thought to have the cheapest petrol in the country. One chain of garages is selling unleaded at 99.7 pence a litre, and it's the first time it's dropped below £1 in more than 10 years. However, because the owner's selling twice as much as he normally does, he keeps running out and has to call in the tankers to top up the pumps. Mark Goff reports.
Less than £1 a litre. Drivers haven't seen this for a few years. And this petrol station in Maypole in Birmingham hasn't seen so many customers. Not until it started selling what's thought to be the cheapest petrol in the country. Motorists are smiling again. Even those with thirsty Bentleys.
It's a 6-litre twin turbo, and it's about time the petrol prices did come down, because normally I was like filling about £110 a tank. Now I've just like filled up, it's about near enough 80 quid, so it does make a lot of a difference.
It's the lowest it's been since I was about 11 actually, before I even started driving, so it's great.
I usually spend about £60, £50 to £60, and this is 36. So it's absolutely brilliant, isn't it? Great.
I go to Esso in Bourneville, and theirs was 104.9, but they've put it up again, so I've driven up here out of my way to get cheaper petrol.
We need 27,500 litres of unleaded.
The owner has another petrol station in Redditch and 3 more around the country.
We are the cheapest in the areas where we are operating. Here in Redditch, we've been doing this for the past 4 years, and we increased our volume more than double. We thought we should be the first to bring the price down below £1. We normally sell around average 18,000 a day, but yesterday it was 32,000 litres.
When you get a delivery, how long would that last you?
Normally 2 days.
And now?
It looks 1 day.
Other petrol stations have dropped their prices too, but not below the magic pound figure. Nevertheless, drivers will still be enjoying cheap fuel, for now at least.
We normally set the price for a week, so till next Monday the price will be the same.
By noon today, the Redditch station was out of unleaded, but another tanker was on its way. Mark Goff, ITV News.
One of the first anti-gravity running machines developed by NASA scientists is now available for the general public to use in Coventry. Stacey Foster's been to take a look.
Stand on the back platform.
Stepping into the future of weight loss.
Step back a bit.
Once you're locked in and zipped up, it's all systems go. And ready for liftoff.
Total. And if you want to press the plus button on the speed, which will start the treadmill up to a comfortable run.
The anti-gravity treadmill was developed a decade ago to help athletes who need to keep fit whilst injured.
The technology in this machine is developed by NASA, and it means that Neris can run at 8 stone lighter than her body weight. So how does it work? Here comes the science.
What we do is we really put air pressure into a chamber which unweights you. So originally designed by NASA to suck you down onto the treadmill, and they flipped the technology for use down here to actually give you sort of the feeling of being in space and being able to unweight you from 100% of your body weight down to 20% of your body weight. So you can actually exercise without pain. You can actually exercise if you're overweight.
Wow, it's like on the moon.
Although it feels like out of space, we're actually at the BMI hospital in Coventry, which also wants to use this new piece of kit to help people who are overweight to exercise.
People are overweight who don't want to or are struggling to be able to do any sort of form of cardiovascular exertion, they can come and use the machine where it reduces their body weight down up to 20% of their body weight, and they can do exercise at that body weight percentage. So if someone's weighing at, let's say, 24 stone, we can reduce their body weight by half, and they can be then starting to work cardiovascularly at 12 stone, which is 50% of their body weight.
It's pulling a little bit.
Okay, so if we reduce you down to 60%.
Neris is here for help with her hamstring injury. So did going weightless really work?
It was amazing. Really good. You just feel so light. Running, there's no way I could have run like that on a traditional one with my injury, and actually in normal fitness I haven't run for 20 minutes without stopping, so it was great.
With a starting price of £34,000, this kind of kit is usually only seen in the gym of a Premier League football club, but the Meriden Hospital will open its doors later this month, so anyone can at least try running on air, but with their feet firmly on the ground. Stacey Foster, ITV News, Coventry.
Sport, and Wolves have been knocked out of the FA Cup after losing to Fulham in the third round replay. The game finished 3-3 after extra time, but Wolves were beaten 5-3 on penalties. Now let's get the weather forecast with the details. Here's Lucy.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
Hello, well, we're seeing snow showers spreading through the Midlands at the moment. And then tomorrow it's all about the stormy, wet and windy weather. So there's plenty to tell you about. Temperatures tonight dipping to freezing or just below in some locations. And these snow showers making their way in an easterly direction, gradually easing as we move through to dawn. And then we look further west for our next lot of weather. So a bit of respite tomorrow before this wet and windy weather rolls in. But for tomorrow morning, plenty of wintry sunshine. It's just going to feel bitterly cold, and then the wind will pick up in the afternoon and the cloud will build.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by Centre Parks.
So wrap up warm for tonight and of course tomorrow. That's all we've got time for tonight. As always, there are further updates and more details on the stories you've been hearing on our website. To see them, just go to itv.com/central. We're back tomorrow morning within Good Morning Britain, and then of course back at 6. For now though, from the late team, good night.